3, 2, 1, and go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening or afternoon, depending on where you are, and welcome to another Johnny Scrims matchup. Tonight, we have Budget Roster facing off against Manipulus. My name is Warren Jugglegod Hammond, and I am joined once again by my partner in crime, Mr. Amintus Major. How you doing today?
Doing great as always, Juggle. Glad to be back here, casting some more Johnny Scrims matches. Last time we were on, we casted the Speed Boost match, and while they did not come out on top in that one, I've noticed that the competition in this league seems to be pretty close from what I've seen so far. This week, unfortunately, has been nothing but 3-0s for everybody, so hopefully we get a little bit more competitive game today between Budget Roster and Manipulus, who, Budget Roster, they came out, they've already won their first match, whereas Manipulus has yet to play one, and this will be their first official showing, so hopefully they put up a great display for us for the broadcast.
Yeah, I hope so too. And this is an exciting broadcast for us as well. I am going to be producing and observing today, as well as doing play-by-play. So, gonna go ahead and give that disclaimer as we get into the game. So this will be exciting. Apologies, this is only my second time observing, but I am excited to do it. So, we are headed to Busan first today. Now, what do you think we might see running out here, out of the gates on Busan?
Well, we are going to start on Mecha Base, so this is pretty much guaranteed to be a rush mirror unless these teams have something prepared in advance, maybe something a little bit surprising. Nonetheless, we're going to see as we load in here, both teams locking in that very traditional Mei-centric brawl composition. And I say Mei-centric because a lot of the decisions and gameplay surrounding the mirror of this composition comes from the way these two Meis are going to be playing. POH versus Dastorius. In this matchup, we should pay very close attention to see which Mei is getting better walls, able to play more aggressively to enable the rest of the brawl comp to pop off in these upcoming fights.
Yeah, and here we go. The fights have started. The teams are out the gates.
They're loading in. They're walking up. They're meeting at this central pillar area. Arthur getting taken down a little bit low to start here, but HP advantage going towards the blue side. But the lamp comes out first. Nice stun, though, on a 4. That's going to be an easy first fight win for them.
Yeah, and it looks like Manipulus is just going to tear right through Budget Roster and take control of this point first. That was a very, very... one-sided affair right there to start things out.
Convincing fight went off of Hammurami's stun grenade, able to catch 4 people out, and another wall into Arthur.
Oh my gosh, that's huge! The wall comes out too from Dastorius, but it's not going to be enough. Dongalicious goes down, Arthur is down as well. And once again, Manipulus is just tearing through this Budget Roster.
That's 2 fight wins and under 15% on the clock. And Trick's Gold is getting staggered as well. They're going to have to go back to spawn and swap to a different tank to get that mech back because they're not going to give them any charge to try to remech. Goes to Winston, back to D.Va, so no bomb charge. Advantage still firmly in favor of Manipulus, but I think Budget Roster might be able to surprise them if they come out quickly enough here.
Yeah, that is true. And right now we see...
oh, no.
Oh, look at this. The amplification matrix comes out, but Dongalicious is down already, just about immediately from this amplification matrix. And yeah, there's not much that Budget Roster can do to put a dent in this defense of Manipulus.
Yeah, they are looking dominant for their first showing so far. Great start, to be sure. Dastorius has this Blizzard online on this next engage. I think Budget Roster has to play through that. They bait out the wall properly. Here comes the aggression. It doesn't get even.
Oh, wow, look at this. The Deadeye from Hammurami gets one person, but he's traded out by Whoopsie. So now there's 1 DPS down for each side. Yeah, the Shatter is blocked. Now we see the Deadeye coming out from Whoopsie. Oh, look at this bomb. Can it catch anybody? No, it doesn't. Dongalicious is able to get that amplification, the immortality field out first. Right after that, the amplification matrix, and this is looking a little bit better now for Budget Roster. Oh, the Blizzard comes out from Poe. It's able to catch out Arthur. Arthur gets frozen and eventually goes down to the remech kill. And we've got a 5v4 on point right now. Dongalicious goes down again. And this is just looking like a sweep so far for Manipulus. A couple of people coming in to try and touch to stagger into this point, but I don't think it's going to be much.
And you know, I spoke briefly at the beginning of this match about this Mei versus Mei in the brawl, and Dastorius, after losing 4 fights in a row, just decides, yeah, I'm going to try Reaper and see if that helps at all, and doesn't end up changing their fortunes whatsoever. It'll be a 100-0 in favor of Manipulus to start this off, and I just want to bring attention again to the Mei of POH. Those walls were so clutch on every single engage. It felt like a budget roster was struggling so much just to try to even get a foothold in some of these fights, and by the time that they get through those doorways, the wall's already out. They've expended a lot of resources just to get to where they want to be, and it's easy for Manipulus to clean up those kinds of fights. So we're probably going to see new looks from budget roster at the very least. Looks like both teams are actually swapping their composition for downtown here.
Yeah, that they are. Interested to see how this Echo's going to play out for Manipulus as well. Echo can be very, very pivotal. A very, very pivotal pick.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to carry momentum forward, though, and Shingen's getting chunked out low, the far mercy of Dastorius and Fabius, trying to poke out some of those backliners sitting on that balcony. Arthur starts the engage off in a nice nade to open things up.
Yeah, now we see Poe trying to take out this, trying to take out the far in the sky, using that focusing beam to try and get a little bit more damage in there. Sticky Bomb's coming as well. Dastorius going down very, very low on this Pharah. And now, yeah, we see Shingen as well in the back line of budget roster trying to get some value. We've got a D-Mech onto Trix. Trix is very, very low. That could be the opening if Manipulus can find them to get the... Yeah, there we go. Trix is out now. Shingen, again. Oh, look at that. Poe is able to get the mercy part of the pharmacy out, and now the dominoes are just going to keep falling for the side of Manipulus.
Budget roster opens that fight off by splitting the tanks from their back line, cutting off some of the line of sights for Dongalicious. He's not able to heal up Trix, Cold, and Arthur. After getting that D-Mech on the Diva, it's an easy cleanup 5v6 because the Pharah doesn't have any space to work with. And yeah, they're going to swap off the Pharah. They go towards the Kree, trying to keep that backline a little bit more safe, but it's going to be nearly impossible in the face of POH's copy when it comes online. Not to mention Gastrol's Nano going to get dropped into Shingen to start this next engage off as well.
Yeah, and oh, there we go. The Nanos are traded onto the Winstons, and Dongalicious going down very, very low for budget roster due to this, due to the Nano Monkey, and now the Primal Rage is popped from Shingen as well. But Jabba the Clut is able to get a Diva Bomb kill onto Dongalicious, but the rest comes out from the Fabiest. So now both heals are back up again for budget roster. Shingen, oh look at that nade coming in that Shingen was able to capitalize on.
Oh, the remake comes in for Trix, Cold. It's not over just yet, but it's slowly going to turn in favor of the team that already has capture percentage. Over time, I don't think it's going to be possible for them to win an extended engage because, look, POH is returning with this copy, and he can use it at any time. Yeah, this is just more time in favor of Manipulus.
Yeah, Whoopsie trying to get something done. Oh my gosh, but they are stunned and taken out by Homerami. That McCree doing a lot of good. Oh, but the sleep comes in from Dongalicious, and that's going to stop the aggression, at least momentarily.
Budget roster just used up all that time to get 0 ultimates online and no capture percentage, and now in this next engage, Manipulus has such a distinct advantage with 5 ultimates compared to the 0 right now of budget roster. How are they going to try to open this up? Here comes Arthur.
Oh yeah, Dorkarx drops that rally, but they're taken out by Dastorius. Dastorius able to get the Deadeye kill onto them, so that's big. But look at that, Jabba the Clut is able to take out 2 with the bomb. Arthur goes off the map, decides to try and take the train somewhere else because Busan certainly wasn't working for budget roster, and that is going to be a win.
Looks like we had the team names reversed there.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be a win for Manipulus.
Or I think it actually is budget roster. I think I had the names correct. 1 second. Oh, okay. No, they are on the wrong side for the stream. My apologies, guys. I'm a new lobby host / casting combo here. So
yeah,
I'll get that switched on this next map. But great start for Manipulus on this first map for them. You know, for our first look, not having seen them previously in any of the other games so far. Really great stuff to start off their Johnny Scrims season here. That was a very dominant first point and a very snowbally second point of Busan. So if they can keep this kind of momentum going on different compositions outside of just Brawl and that Echo dive we just saw, It's looking great for Manipulus.
Yeah, it really is. They didn't seem like they were struggling in the least. Budget roster, on the other hand, they were sweating a little bit. I think, for sure, trying to get something going. But I don't. Budget roster got some percentage on that second round of Busan, but I don't think they won necessarily any fights. I think they just flipped that over mid fight, and Manipulus
Yeah,
still came out on top.
that was actually at the very beginning of the map where the farmers
Mm,
kind of touched down on the point when everybody else on Manipulus was on the other side. They couldn't touch.
right.
Obviously, they were trying to regroup. That was sort of the snowball that broke the camel's back, so to speak, because after they win that first fight and they start to build distinct ult advantages throughout the rest of the map, it's
Hmm.
extremely difficult to try to retake, especially on characters like the Ana Mercy combo that we ended up seeing for a majority of budget rosters attack attempts. So
Yeah.
it's just really difficult to try to establish a foothold in those kinds of scenarios, especially against a team comp that can repeatedly just go aggressively as much as it wants.
Yeah. Now I just did find out that well, I think we did have things I think you did have things correct. Budget roster is the blue team. Phoenix
Oh,
from chat just let us know. So, it looks like things are swapped on my end. So, I need to figure out how to get that changed. Maybe Johnny, if you are around, you can help me out with that. Johnny Scrims, by the way, the namesake of this entire tournament, has done a phenomenal job setting up all of this back end production stuff so that when we step in, we don't have to do anything. It's just great. But what that does mean is that it might be a little difficult for me to swap the team names at the moment. But hopefully Johnny will get that taken care of. But we're gonna do our best to cast this correctly in the meantime. So thank you for bearing with us while we get this set up. Now we are headed next to Junkertown. Based on what we saw, do you think that Manipulus, I guess, has any good opportunities here to turn things around?
sure hope so, because they need a good start here. I kind of played it really up in their favor because I was very confused about the team names on that last map, so forgive me for that one. Nonetheless, I think Manipulus could have a chance, mainly because, budget did end up winning. Whoops.
Yeah.
um, like I was saying, this is going to be a new look for Manipulus because Junkertown is such a very unique map in not only the way that it's constructed, but how different types of compositions succeed on different parts of the map. First and second point, you typically see double sniper that gets carried over from that first point. Lots of sight lines, lots of high grounds you can play around, and just in general suits the double sniper composition a lot better than something like maybe a double bubble dive. But on defense, you have a huge variety of comps you might be able to play, and Budget Roster recognizes this. They're going for this spawn camp. They're trying to hold as close as possible with the Brawl comp and burn a lot of time. They're not really going to be playing for first point per se. They accept the fact that Double Sniper might get a couple picks and start to snowball off of the first point, but on second and third, I think Brawl comp really comes into its own here, so good choice from Budget Roster to start things off, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're looking at a great spawn hold here from the side of Budget Roster. Manipulus opting for this Wrecking Ball Sigma look, which I think is going to be fascinating. If you're going to play a dive tank, it really should be Wrecking Ball in this map. So kudos to them for that pick. Ooh, Widow, Whoopsie, taking a couple pot shots, seeing if they can find anything from Manipulus. Can't really get anything done. This Budget Roster hold is looking pretty good, but we see that now Dastorius has decided to swap over to Bastion, maybe to try and get a little extra damage in. But yeah, the Mayball comes out and blocks him in, so that's not going anywhere. Poe on point right now, keeping everybody at bay.
Whoa!
Wow, Arthur! Look at that! That is huge! That is the opening that Manipulus needed. So, looks like everybody from Budget Roster is now falling by the wayside, and Manipulus is coming in with their first fight win, and is going to be able to get this cart moving.
Arthur makes the ultimate sacrifice, kills himself, but takes two out with him to open things up for Manipulus. Sightlines are clearly in favor of Whoopsie as well on this recontest. He's all the way in the back on that coast there. He's got all the room in the world to pop off as long as the Brawl comp never reaches him. This should be very easy for Manipulus to maintain the control here.
Yeah, especially with Arthur. Look at this flank he's got going. Oh yeah, the mines are going to get deployed. There we go. The slam comes out on point. But it's Trixcold who goes down first. Oh, wow. So already Budget Roster looking like things might go their way and they might be able to hold despite that fantastic minefield from Arthur.
Whoopsie was never the target there. It was Trixcold. The Brawl comp just explodes onto the objective and instantly removes the Sigma before you can get Gravitic Flux online, just carrying that to a fight win. And now they have the ults to try to sustain, go back in here. Maybe with this sound barrier, they can play aggressively, but they have to watch out for Trixcold's Gravitic Flux.
Ooh, yeah. That Gravitic Flux could be the difference maker coming in from Manipulus. Now, both teams at this point just kind of trading some chip damage. Arthur pushing to point a little bit to try and provide a little pressure. There we go. There comes the Gravitic Flux. We've got 1, 2 Blizzards. Dastori is frozen. Dongalicious pops the Transcendence, but it isn't able to help out the rest of his team as much as he needs to. Trixcold trying to get something going. Doorcracks, though, has already fallen, and Gas Draws on the side of Budget Roster has gone down very low. Trixcold trying to take them out, but just can't quite get the finish off. But Arthur is there in the nick of time to finish them off. Accretion comes out, but Shingen blocks it, but he doesn't block those Hyperspheres. And despite this going over early, or looking like it was going over early for Budget Roster, Manipulus was able to come out on top.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. If you're Budget Roster, you accept the fact that you're losing that first objective very quickly. They burned 3 minutes off the clock there. That's a great first start for them going into the rest of this map, but we do end up seeing the full comp swap from them. L6 heroes changing their roles here. We have a Rein Zarya with Echo Tracer and an On a Break backline. This is an interesting look, kind of a hybrid rush. Without the Lucio, right, it's difficult to call it rush, but just an interesting look for them. Arthur's going to drop the mines to start this engage off, but they should be able to disengage pretty easily here. Just more charge feeding over to Jabba to start this next engage off. So we have to watch Trixcold once again with this Gravitic Flux. He's halfway there, and Arthur might get taken out immediately. Oh my gosh, yeah. Arthur goes down so low, is forced to back out, pick up a Mega Pack, but now they're behind the team again. Oh, they get slept. Fantastic sleep coming in from Gastrals, and now we have this fight going on in this high ground over here that it looks like Budget Roster is winning handily. Oh, thank you, Johnny Scrims, for coming in and swapping the names. Now we've got them in the right place. Trixcold going down very low, but they back out safely, and now they use the Gravitic Flux. They're able to catch a couple of them in it. They go down low for Budget Roster, but nobody is taken out. Trixcold getting hit with that nade and goes down very, very low. Jabba the Clut is able to take them out, and now we've got tanks traded on point. Although the Fabius is able to get Dongalicious back up, they pop the Transcendence to try and keep something going on point for Manipulus. Oh, man. Wow, but look at these kills coming in once again for Budget Roster. Hammurabi on this Echo getting a lot of work done, but it's really Poe coming in clutch on that Tracer. It looks so good there for Manipulus for just a couple moments up until that point where I believe that was Gastrals lands a nade on both Whoopsie and the Fabius, just instantly killing 2 people with the help of POH. And it's really difficult for Arthur to try to open up engages for Manipulus on this point, with Wrecking Ball in particular, because the composition that Budget Roster has opted into just tries to shut him down every single fight, and it seems like it's working really well. They open up this next fight, however, Manipulus gets the first pick, they get another on the Dork RX, and this should be a 4v6 that they can easily walk to the point. Yeah, especially now that that Primal Rage from Shingen is done. Oh, but now we've got the duplication from Hammurabi coming onto Sigma. Yeah, they're able to take out 1, 2 people and turn the favors very quickly for Budget Roster. Fantastic work from Hammurabi. Yeah, they really, really are. Look at that. That focusing beam is able to take out Arthur again with that Echo. Fantastic work. No matter how many picks you can get Manipulus, it doesn't even matter. Budget Roster has the tools to stall these fights out with the copy, with the Primal, and now on this next engage, they have a nice Graviton Surge from Jabba that can come in at any moment, and no defensives on the side of Manipulus means, how are you going to survive this? Yeah, that's a good question. Minefield comes out from Arthur. There's also a Dragon Strike coming in from Dastorius. Doesn't really catch anybody. Oh my gosh, and it's the DPS and tank line from Budget Roster really getting the work done right now. Arthur trying their best to get something going
from Manipulus, but just not quite able to as they are stunned. The bubble comes out from Trix, but just not enough to make things happen.
And there's only 10 seconds left now. How are they going to touch the objective? Somebody has to sacrifice their life. It feels like BOH goes so deep, and yeah, nobody's going to be able to touch the card.
Wow.
There's no stop halfway through second point for Manipulus. Nice defensive hold from Budget Roster there. A couple of the swaps they made going into that second point really confused me, but it was clear after we saw a little bit more gameplay that their plan was to shut out the Wrecking Ball of Arthur, prevent him from starting any of those engages off reliably, just get a bunch of CC with that on a brig, and you saw it. It was impossible for Arthur to open things up for his team, so clearly they're going towards this playstyle of shut out a single member, and it's working really well so far for Budget Roster.
Yeah, it really, really is. Budget Roster, looking like a pretty high value roster as well. You're, getting more than maybe what you paid for, if they consider themselves budget. And there we see the finish line. It is not very far away. That's gonna be tough. Tough for Manipulus to hold, as we see them getting set up.
Yeah, they swap towards double shield, which I think is a pretty nice defensive option. It gives you a lot of time to work with. You know, you have the 2 shields. Obviously, you can sit on corners with the Baptiste. But the problem is, what do you do with that time? Because we've seen Whoopsie on that Widowmaker previously. Now, as he goes towards this McCree, he has yet to really put his name down in the kill feed as someone worth watching. So even if you buy all this time with double shield and the immortality field from the Fabius, what does it matter if your DPS are unable to perform? So we need to see Whoopsie and Dastorius really level up their play on this defense.
Yeah, we really do. And Budget Roster is out of the gates with a charge. It looks like they opted. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a big pick from Dastorius. And Dongalicious is able to get Shingen as well. So, Manipulus coming out with a very, very good hold so far on this first point, despite setting up further back than we saw Budget Roster.
Looks like Dastorius hit level 2 there. He manages to open up the next fight and get a kill onto Java, who ends up swapping over to D.Va. I like this choice because you can now matrix a lot of this incoming damage. Set up these dives a little more easily for Shingen and POH to get in, and that's a big nade! Dongalicious is so low.
Oh my gosh.
He finally dies as the lamp goes down.
Yeah, Shingen continuing the pressure with that Winston. He's forced to back out initially, though, and Jabba the Clut is actually demexed, so that's going to slow things down for Budget Roster. But Shingen says, nope, we're just going back in. Hammurabi is able to get a pick onto Whoopsie, and the picks are now just going to flow like a waterfall for Budget Roster.
Yeah, even though Jabba gets demexed, Hammurabi goes around the flank and somehow wins a nice 1v1 against Whoopsie at close range. You don't typically see the Hanzo coming out ahead in those duels, so props to Hammurabi and, props to just Budget Roster in general, because they've got 5 minutes now on this next portion of the second point, and you're going to have to put up some LeBron-level numbers if you're Manipulus on this defense here. The Fabius' window is really the only tool they have. Whoopsie will have a high need as well, but there's so many different ways that Budget Roster can survive them, so we're going to have to come up with something surprising. Arthur does swap to Roadhog, so that might be the opening that they need.
Yeah, this is a good point, because now Shingen is going to have to play a lot more careful, a lot more safe. Oh, the Dragon Strike comes out. Shingen goes in. Oh, no. Look at that! Dongalicious goes down. Fantastic shot from Hammurabi. They're now taking out as many as they can with that storm bow. Just doing fantastic work. And there, look at this cart. This cart is so close to the end zone, to that final spot where they need to get it. Oh no, Arthur goes down as well. The Fabius is down too. Can they even touch? I don't think there's any shot. And Budget Roster taking the second map very handily as well. And I know you said we weren't hoping for a 3-0, but at this point, whew, it's looking like we might be seeing another one.
This is a blazing fast game so far from Budget Roster. Clearly getting their money's worth, like you mentioned. So props to them, like I mentioned earlier, for being able to just kind of, dominate in this matchup. They saw a bunch of different compositions, and they seemed like they had a really unique way to counter them every single time. Like I mentioned on their defense, they kind of worked to shut down Arthur on that Wrecking Ball. Whereas on attack, they recognize the weakness of Double Shield is their inability to deal with offing. So they just send Hammurabi on that Hanzo in a different look, on a different side angle, gets a couple picks, and open things up for his team. So Manipulus have basically lost across the smorgasbord of every single composition we can see in Overwatch, and it's not looking good for them going into this third point. As yeah, the momentum is clearly in Budget Roster's favor here.
Yeah, it really is. And budget roster, do you feel like there's any standout members so far from this team?
Oh, absolutely. I could say all six of them, to be honest, but I do want to pay close attention to Shingen, actually, on Winston.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of subjective when it comes to main tank performance because a lot of it relies on your team to sort of set you up and enable you. But this guy has consistently been starting fights by jumping super aggressively into compositions that normally he would not be able to survive. And then the rest of his team keeps him alive. He gets those primals online. And once he starts swinging those monkey fists around, it's just impossible for Manipulus to try to hold, especially on a composition like Double Shield on their own defense there. So Shingen's Winston has been pretty dominant so far in this match, I'd say.
Yeah. I think Arthur had the right idea swapping over to that Roadhog to try and mitigate anything they could do. Maybe, Manipulus also needs to throw in a Reaper in there as well. To try and chunk down Shingen, because maybe that's the key. Maybe that's the key for Manipulus, is to get him off the Winston, and off the comfort pick.
That's the problem, though. Like I mentioned, it's not just Shingen that's popping off here. It's pretty much everybody on budget roster.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see how they end up taking this next map here, which is going to be King's Row. I know you are you full of facts about King's Row. I feel like every time we play or cast this map, you somehow just bring out some brand new thing I never knew about this area, just in general. Like that Dada statue fact last time, that was hilarious. But
thank you.
Yeah, we'll be loading in here in a bit. Both teams are just kind of getting ready.
And
we got one in the bathroom right now, but yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Johnny, if you were there, it looks like
the scores are incorrect here. Yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, and also I think Johnny, we might need to swap the teams again, because I think that did they just swap sides? Amintus?
Yeah, I got it. I just switched budget roster over to attack, so we'll be going in here. One's not ready at the moment yet. Still, we can take some time.
Cool. So Johnny, if you are there, if you can swap the names in OBS again, that would be fantastic.
Oh, I think actually that's on my end.
Oh, is that on your end?
Let's see if that happens. No. Oh, no, never mind. That's just for stat keeping. My bad.
There we go. Thank you so much, Johnny. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, apparently the stream title is still Speed versus Angrish. We'll get that taken care of as well. Thank you so much, chat, for helping us out today. Yeah, it's quite a bit producing and casting at the same time. Hope we're keeping up as best we can. So hopefully next time it'll be even smoother when I have to if we have to produce and cast in the future.
To focus on something else outside of the difficulties of production, I'd like to bring attention to just how strong budget roster has been and how difficult it's been for Manipulus to get some of these fights started for themselves. I think budget roster's doing a great job of taking a lot of initiative in these engages, sort of making that first move almost every single time. As we load into King's Row, we're likely going to see a Brawl versus Brawl mirror. And once again, the team that makes that first move typically has a massively easier time in the ensuing fight. So I'm not really expecting anything else besides more budget roster dominance here on this next attack.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And, heading into King's Row, there's not really a whole lot of wiggle room for what, you want to run. This is probably just going to be a brawl, just a brawl v brawl extravaganza here.
I mean, not if budget roster has anything to say about it, though, because POH naturally is like, yeah, I'll play the robot just to throw you guys off. But yeah, on the defensive side, on the other hand, we see Manipulus running a very standard brawl composition. Looks like the Fabius does opt into a Moira, actually, and we get Whoopsie on the Reaper rather than the Mei that we saw previously. So new looks for them. I think what this comp allows you to do compared to a Baptiste Mei setup is play at a much higher tempo, but the problem is it's very front-loaded, right? You don't have a lot of staying power. You don't have ultimates that might necessarily get online in that first engage. Coalescence, while it does charge up extremely quickly, it's going to be difficult to get it back online compared to Dorkar X's amplification matrix. So it's going to be a race between these flex supports to see who gets their ultimate online first, or whoever gets the first pick. We have an interesting look once again. This is a Bastion teleporter strategy. We'd love to see it, and this is going to be death from above if he can get up there and stay up there.
Yeah, and it looks like he is on top of that building right now, just raining down as much damage as he can. And Dastorius is already down on the side of Manipulus. Shingen on the point, trying already to take this point away from him. Oh my gosh, but Poe, they're just in the sky. Nobody is able to do anything. Tricks down on point. They are D-maxed now, so there's no hope at all for Manipulus holding on to this point.
The AC-130 claims more victims. The last time we saw this, I was talking about the kill streaks. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up getting a lot of the ult charge. In fact, it's Shingen that's actually closest to his ultimate. POH swaps back over to the Mei. I like this look from them. They're going back towards the traditional Brawl composition, but the problem is Gastrals is still stuck on the Zenyatta, so I think Manipulus has a little bit of an advantage if they recognize there's a couple people in the spawn room, but they're kind of incentivized to still play on this corner and wait things out. So great moves from Budget Roster to play the mind games and slow the pace of the match down. But the pace is about to increase once again as the cart rolls around this corner.
Yeah, we see now Poe is there with that Mei, looking to possibly wall off Arthur, but they aren't able to get anything going in that choke. Oh, the Shatter! The Shatter catches 4! Dastorius down already! The Immortality Field out for Gastrals, but they don't even need it because there's not enough guns left firing on the field to do any damage from Manipulus.
I mean, we talked about Shingen's Winston, but this guy's Reinhardt is just as capable. Lands the 4-man shatter, bunny hops around Arthur's dead corpse, and just lays everybody out on the side of Manipulus. And this card will continue to roll further into the second point of King's Row. And this retake is going to be nearly impossible against Dorkar's Amp Matrix, unless if the Fabius gets this Coalescence in a good spot. Arthur's getting blown up, though, and he's already gone.
Yeah, look at that. Oh,
Ooh, here we go.
Death Blossom comes out, it catches one. Dastorius also gets somebody with that Deadeye, and now Hammurabi is trying to back out as much as they can from Dastorius, but they're taken down. And great recontest and retake from Manipulus.
But down a couple members, they should be able to speed them back in time with Dongalicious' amp, so it's going to be an even 6v6 on this next engage. And I think the problem here for Budget Roster is going to be, how do we force out Whoopsie before the engage starts, and then how do we snowball that into the rest of the team fight? Whoopsie manages to get that Death Blossom and sort of hold the space there, and now we got a similar situation. He has to just play next to Arthur to enable the Shatter. Oh, it gets blocked though.
Yeah, both Shatters come in, neither of them are really finding any value, but it's Arthur who gets frozen by Poe, and Poe now has that Blizzard online. Dongalicious pops the beat, but they're not able to really keep any of their members up as much as they need to, despite all those extra shields. Still, members of Manipulus going down. Bomb comes in, doesn't catch anybody. That shield of Shingen's was there to handle everything that was coming its way, and this is actually turning into a bit longer of an engagement than I thought it would.
Whoa. That freeze from POH manages to catch out Arthur and separate everybody else from Manipulus to prevent a recontest in the middle of that fight. So that's a handy fight win for the side of Budget Roster, and they should be able to continue the momentum through the rest of point C here on King's Row, because look at all these ultimates they have. 5 online. And once again, we've seen this scenario before on Junkertown. It is so hard for Manipulus to try to start these engages off when you don't have anything to open it with in terms of ultimates.
Yeah. Oh, there comes the amplification matrix from Dorkrax. I imagine we might see a Deadeye pretty soon from Hammurabi. There it is. There's so many people. The Shatter is massive. Hammurabi's only able to get one, but it's Dongalicious, which is a great pick because that means there's no more heals left on the point for Manipulus, and they are just going to get to roll this thing in right to the last few inches. Arthur on that wrecking ball, but they're quickly stunned out and taken out by Hammurabi. Man. The Diva Bomb comes in as well to clear the point, and that's going to be it. Fantastic push from Budget Roster.
Budget Roster is on a whole nother level compared to Manipulus in this match right now. It is just such a distinct difference in play style. It feels like where not only can Budget Roster start these engages off with aggressive pushes, they know how to close them out too. They know how to disengage if things go poorly. Whereas on the other side, you have Manipulus, who feels the need to start engages off aggressively, especially with Whoopsie on that Reaper. He's trying to teleport into backlines, set up flanks, and none of them are working out. Jabba's ready with that Matrix. And the entirety of Budget Roster has a game plan in place for how to deal with the level of aggression. They kite it out if they need to, but they can go right back in just as hard if they feel like that's what they need to do to win. And that's simply what's going on right now. Budget Roster is just outclassing Manipulus in this match.
Yeah, they really are. You know, I don't know if Manipulus really has anything else that they can do to bring this out their way. Although I mean, we've seen. Oh, yeah.
There's always some cheese. You can pull out something else if the enemy team's not ready. Dastorius on this Hanzo, the one-shot potential at any moment. One of those lower than 300 health heroes, basically everybody in your backline, can get killed at any moment if Dastorius gets a lucky headshot or, you know, a skillful headshot. I'll give him some credit. But in the mid-fight, you know, Hammurabi on this McCree is going to enable Shingen to start dominating Arthur in the Ryan v. Ryan matchup. And POH is setting up for a nice wall again. Arthur's gone.
Oh my gosh, he's already picked out. The charge comes in. The, Arthur goes down. Immortality Field is up from Gastrals. But again, not really entirely sure if they need it, as Manipulus is just sent back into spawn.
And Jabba will already touch the spawn door after 25 seconds of defending. Glad we got that one in now, boys. Nice job. Fast engage victory for them. A very holistic set of ults coming online as well. They should all come up in the mid-fight here, especially Gastral's Amp Matrix. I think you combo that with a Fire Strike from Shingen. This fight's can end instantly, but POH needs to get another nice wall. Whoopsie drops his own to protect his team, and they've taken objective control.
Ooh, yeah. Fantastic rotation there from Manipulus. They've already got almost one tick on the scoreboard. They do have one tick now. Gastral's forced to pop that Immortality. Amplification Matrix comes up as well for Budget Roster. This is just, fantastic hold again from Budget Roster.
They do get a tick in the DMAC on the Java, but I want to pay close attention to Dastorius. Like I mentioned in the pre-round, he has yet to really do any significant damage. He's doing a lot of chunking. You know, he's taking those tanks very low, but that doesn't really result in anything. You need to start getting some one-hit kills to open things up for your team, especially if you're on this Hanzo pick. Hammurabi has this high noon to set up Shingen's Shatter, but here comes the Dragon Strike.
Oh, the Dragon Strike splits Budget Roster very, very effectively. The Immortality Field is up. Shatter comes in. Shingen just kills, too, outright with the Shatter, taking out both the supports. But we've still got members of Manipulus on point, and they are going to get this first point captured and turned over, and they get to start pushing this cart.
I live in California, but I think I just felt an earthquake in this game as both Earth Shatters come out there. The problem was the Jabba was demac'd, and not having that Diva in the fight ready to start going and following up on your Shatter, you can't really make anything happen long-term, so they go back to the drawing board. Budget Roster coming back in here. They've got a lot of ways to open this next engage up. 3 ultimates online compared to 0. Like I always talk about, they can open it up at any moment. Here comes the bomb combo. Yeah.
Whoa! Arthur's taken out by the bomb. Unsure how he was able to miss that with his shield. Shingen gets the Fire Strike onto Whoopsie, and they are going to get a nice hold here right out of the choke from first point.
There's a huge difference in the tank line of these two teams. I think Budget Roster, Shingen and Jabba, are just capable of flipping that aggressive switch at any given moment. And Arthur and Trixcold just are not prepared to deal with that level of aggression. And not to mention, Jabba has been scouting and playing ahead of his team so effectively to start sniffing out these rotations ahead of time. They should be very ready for whatever Manipulus tries to throw at them in this next engage, as long as they're tracking those ultimates properly.
Yeah, and look at the way that Budget Roster was able to see that rotation from Manipulus and take advantage of it, and now Budget Roster is caught out here kind of in this alley. This is turning into a very disorganized push, I feel like, from Manipulus, as now they're on this high ground really far behind. This is such an interesting moment. Bomb comes in. Oh, nothing comes from it, but Arthur's able to get out Gastrals, and despite this amplification matrix, this looks like it is... Oh, but there's a counter pick. Oh my gosh, picks coming in from every direction right now. Whoopsie coming up huge with that Riptire, and that is gonna be the point going over for Manipulus.
Pretty much everybody pressed Q. The problem was Manipulus pressed Q second. Also, another problem that they had was the fact that they just weren't able to have enough people on the cart as the fight ends to start pushing it really far. This cart's still going to be stuck in the alleyway here, which will favor Hammurabi's High Noon if he manages to line up enough people, maybe get a nice wall from POH to enable it as well. Arthur's Shatter is their only counter, but they have to run away.
Oh my gosh, the Shatter comes in and it knocks down Hammurabi in the middle of that Deadeye. They still get the flashbang out, but it's not going to do any good as Whoopsie is coming up huge right now on that Junkrat. Fantastic work from them. And yeah, Manipulus might actually see this second point, or this Streets phase capture.
They have a decent attempt at a recontest. It's going to have to be Java or Dorkar to touch. They throw out the bomb to try to clear the cart. It gets 3!
What?
That was
it
a massive
3!
bomb from Java.
With 0.86 meters left on the cart, they get the hold. What an incredible play from Budget Roster, and now they're going to get these staggers as well.
Poor Tricks Gold. Yeah, buddy, just go off the pit, man. I'm sorry. See you later. Because after a bomb like that from Java, there's nothing you can do. Just instantly opens the fight off. I don't think Dongalicious even realized that it was coming, because I would have expected the lamp to at the very least come out just to protect, just in case, right? But it doesn't end up coming out. They get an opening pick onto Dorkar X to start this next engage off. So no Lucio to disengage, but they have to be quick to capitalize. Gastrol's got this Ant Matrix, but they can push past it.
Oh, and there comes the Dragon Strike as we're expertly placed right through the middle of Budget Roster. There's the tire again. Whoopsie finding value is able to take out gas draws. And now, Dorkar is just now getting back for Budget Roster, but I don't think that's going to be enough to keep things going. Although Dorkar is able to get a pick on the Dongalicious, but the picks are still coming in the way of Manipulus. And that is going to be Streets phase done.
They're going to close it out. I love the way Dastorius is actually using Dragon Strike here. I haven't really talked too much about his Hanzo performance after first point, but every time he gets it online, he's able to zone Budget Roster very effectively. Comboing with Whoopsie, just having all that splash damage on the front line is making it so hard for Shingen and Java to start opening things up for their team like they did previously. So they're going to have to find a new look here.
Yeah, maybe that new look will involve Diva Bomb from Trix. Let's see if they can get anything going with it. Right now, everybody just exchanging poke damage so far. Nobody really making major progress, but now we see Arthur starting to push in from Budget Roster. There's the Amplification Matrix from Dongalicious. Shatter comes in. It's able to catch Dongalicious, but the Fabiest is there with the beat. And the counter Shatter catches 4, along with this Blizzard. There's just absolute pandemonium and mayhem on point. Dragon Strike goes through. Jabba the Clut is taken out by it, but not before they get that bomb on Trix Cold. Gets another bomb as well, just to remech, it looks like. But these picks are eventually going to favor Budget Roster after a messy fight.
So many ultimates back and forth, but it's Budget Roster that ends up coming out on top. And if you're Budget Roster right now, you've got this series in the bag. It's 50 seconds left. 2 fights have to be secured in a row for Manipulus to even have a chance here, and it will happen in overtime. So all they really have to do is just stall this out, secure an extra attack for themselves, and denying it from Manipulus.
Oh, and there's the Amplification Matrix again. Whoopsie coming in with that Riptire. Isn't going to be able to find anything. Doesn't quite get anybody. The High Noon comes out from Hammurabi as well. He's sneaking around, doesn't catch anybody out, but it's Shingen who's able to find Arthur. So now there's no main take, but look at that! The boop from Trix! They're able to just smack Shingen off the map, apparently. That little Diva Fist doing a lot of work. The Blizzard comes in, Trix is caught out in it, and there's only one member left on point, and that member is frozen. Oh my gosh. With 2 seconds left, Arthur touches the point to try and get something going, but it's just not gonna be enough as Arthur goes off the map as well. And listen to that, Destorius gets off the Dragon Strike, but they're incapacitated immediately after that. And as these staggers slowly come in, oh my gosh, but look at that, Gastrolls is down now. The Fabiest is able to get Jabba the Clut, and now things might actually be turning the way, oh my gosh, until that Shatter comes in for Manipulus. Budget Roster is getting the picks they need, although there's only one person left on point for Budget Roster.
They've secured overtime, though. This is a long push for Manipulus to try to close this out. And I think the defender's respawn advantage is just going to be insurmountable here. They're all coming out. Everyone on cart's going to die. And
Wow.
yeah, that's going to do at the end of the series. That's a free 3-0 for Budget Roster.
What a game. Budget Roster coming out just guns blazing, taking no prisoners, no survivors. Let's take a look at what Arthur got going, though, because Arthur did have some good plays during this game. Oh, yeah, huge shatter right there. But Shin getting the other shatter, did a lot of work there. But that did lead to the eventual capture for the first point for Manipulus.
Yeah, overall, I'd like to point out that Manipulus had some bright spots. Like you mentioned, Arthur's performance in the Reinhardt mirror. There were moments where he was very capable compared to Shingen, who has been dominating so far in this series. Nonetheless, It seems like everybody else surrounding him has been unable to facilitate that aggressive playstyle like Budget Roster had for Shingen. They were able to amp him around, drop all of the resources into their Rhine, enable those aggressive shatters, like I mentioned, and when you have the rest of your team supporting you and funneling all resources into your main tank, what can you do in the response if you're not getting it in kind, right? There's not really a lot of counterplay in those scenarios.
No, there's really not. And, Manipulus is just going to have to look down the road to their next match for their next win. They did have moments of brilliance, but Budget Roster is just a well-oiled machine. Really?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I'd like to say, for everybody else in Group B here, take note of what you saw today, because I think this might carry over to some future matches as well. These guys were playing lights out the whole way through, and even when there were moments of doubt and weakness for them, they managed to almost always bring it back in the long term, especially on those Echo compositions we saw in Junkertown. And at the very end of Busan as well. They seem very capable regardless of what heroes they're playing. It doesn't even matter what map it is. They're just going to dominate you.
Yes, they are. And we'll have to see next week if that domination continues. But remember to tune back in, because there are more games happening this week for Johnny Scrims. I believe we have one. Let's see here. Today is just Tuesday, so there's going to be plenty more coming your way. Let's see here. Gonna see if I can go pull up the schedule real quick just to let everybody know what we've got coming up.
I think it's on Sunday is going to be our next match. It's Tiananmen Valiant versus Renai Crew. That'll be casted by Atro and Jay Willis. Hopefully you guys tune in for that one, because I think both of those teams actually have been kind of flying under the radar for sure. So getting a good read on their skill level, definitely something worth tuning into if you're interested in what's going to happen in the long term of the Johnny Scrims League here.
Yeah, so check that out. That's going to be a Group A match. Looking forward to seeing that cast by Shady, Spectrum, and Atro. But that is going to do it for us today here at Johnny's Scrims. Do you have any final words for everybody out there, Amintus?
Yes, I do. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, I'd like to apologize at the beginning for a little bit of scuffed production. We've been doing this operation basically by ourselves today. We didn't have a producer, so new territory for the both of us, I'd say. But overall, loved watching this match and loved seeing Budget Roster pop off today. So definitely watch out for them. Make sure you tune into Manipulus's future matches, see if they can bounce back. But overall, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time at Johnny Scrims.